Hi there, I'm Elizabeth Gildner. I live in Austin, and I am a Pilates practitioner as well as an entrepreneur. I have several different businesses. I'm into the holistic arena. I love anything that has to do with holistic and natural practicing. I had never really known that much about red light before I met Jonathan. And I didn't meet him in person, but I met him through the Undefeated Challenge with Shanda Sumter. I learned a lot, and I wanted to try it for myself and to share it with my Pilates clients and anybody else when I do holistic shows that will listen. It was just amazing. I was just he talked about cancer. He talked about, in addition to red light, he talked about his other modalities like urine therapy and stuff like that. But I was most intrigued by the red light because I come from some cognitive issues because I had a brain injury years ago. So I had some back and neck and knee and, stuff. So I was so impressed with all the testimonials that he had on there and all the knowledge that he had about pretty much everything that red light helps. And I was just like blown away. So I bought the biggest package that he offered. I'm looking right over my screen to the big 1500. So I have it standing up and a massage table underneath that so I can lie down underneath it. Then the smaller 500. And then it came with the hat. It came with the mask. It came with the knee. It came with the back. It came with one for your neck, a smaller one for your face, one for your hands, a portable one, which I use on my eyes now because I listened to him do a 3-day webinar not too long ago, and he said I could look straight into it with my eyes. My goal there is to get rid of these things. So at first I wasn't using everything daily because I didn't know I could use it daily until I listened to him do that 3-day webinar. And he said, no, you can use the products daily, 30 minutes and move them around. So I then started using the hat daily. That was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago when I started using it. Before I was using it 4 times a week. I have noticed when my hairdresser, and my hair's up, it's really actually pretty long, but my hairdresser and myself have noticed a difference in like the sheen of my hair and the healthiness not getting so damaged every time I see her and I have hair growth coming in. But another side bar of it, when I started using it daily, is I started to notice my brain function. I'm thinking more clearly like I used to think more clearly. I could do so many things at one time before I had my head injury. And I'm starting to feel that feeling coming back, which is, I didn't know that was going to happen. So that's really exciting to feel that. So the belt is really versatile. It's like this big. I don't know if you can see you can put it on your back. You can put it on your stomach. You can put it around your upper back, your neck. You can really wrap it around a lot of places. So I've been using it for discomfort in my low back. And I've been using it for discomfort like bloating in my stomach. And I've noticed some changes with that. I noticed more changes with the 1500 when I do that. That's, for some reason, I feel a bigger difference with that. But I do love the belt. I do use that daily as well. What was happening is my varicose veins were poking like out, like you could see them, but they were starting to hurt a little bit. And it's mostly on my right inside knee. So I started taking the knee one and putting with the heat and the vibration right on the veins. And that was the first dramatic thing I noticed was, oh my gosh, my veins have lessened in size. You almost can't see the varicose veins now. And the pain, the discomfort has lessened. It just comes and goes. It's not like it was every day, all day. But then I also took the knee one. I sprained my left ankle, and I had sprained my left ankle years ago. And I remembered it taking months and months to heal. So I took the knee and I put it around my ankle where my ankle hurt on top to just bring my foot back like this. And I'm not kidding, within just a few days of doing it, I was unable to even walk. And then I was able to walk in just like a couple of days. It was pretty miraculous. I love the knee one. It's pretty amazing because I'm not going to tell you my age, but you can guess it if you want. But I do these holistic shows, and this lady asked me, because I started using the mask every day. I love the mask. She started asking me, what have you done to your skin? What are you doing? And I said, I'm using the red light therapy on my face every day. And I have noticed significant differences in fine lines. I used to have major lines here. And I'm even noticing a difference in my neck. It used to be so bad. I would be like, oh my gosh, I need to cover that up. But yeah, I'm super happy with what red light has done for my face. I just love the glow and the difference of appearance and fine lines and wrinkles and all the things. I love it. I teach part-time now. So I just had a lady here this morning that's using it. She's got some hip issues and she notices an immediate relief right away. So she also recently just purchased a red light product based on coming to use it at my house. A friend of mine also recently purchased a huge package as well based on using it at my house. So I don't have a tremendous amount of clients yet, but I plan to keep building that up and inviting people to all the different webinars that Jonathan does. I definitely think red light gives you back. Like if you need a boost and you're just like dragging during your day, you could put one of the red light products on for 15, 20 minutes. If you have the big one, you can lie underneath it. It really gives me a pick me up and it just helps. You just feel good. It's like the natural sunlight. And since I'm inside so much, doing so many things virtual these days, getting that extra boost is really beneficial. And I'm getting ready to go out of town for 6 days, and I'm going to take the portable one with me so I can at least shine it on my eyes and my body for 15 minutes or so. Maybe not my eyes for 15 minutes, but yes, I think anybody should watch Jonathan Otto's webinars to get educated because I was not educated. I'm educated on far infrared and different holistic products, but I had never used a red light, even though I know there's facilities that offer red light. I know so much more about it now. I'll just tell you the sidebar story because it's really good. Another lady that watched the Undefeated Challenge with Shanda and Jonathan also bought the big package. And she told me that she got diagnosed with Graves' disease. And I don't know if it's hypo or hyper. And I told her, put the red light right on your thyroid. And they told her she had to be on all kinds of medicines, that 3 things were off. She was really scared about it. She had no energy. Her iron level had dropped. She couldn't even run anymore. She was so depressed. I said, just stand in front of it 30 minutes a day. This is a girl that I know right now. This is just now happening to a woman. And she's been doing that since I suggested for like 2.5 weeks or so. And she lives in another state. And she's almost all of her blood work has changed. They said, what? She goes, I don't have it. I don't have Graves' disease. I'm willing it away. She's almost going to be off the medication. And the only thing she was doing is sitting in front of the red light on her thyroid 30 minutes a day. I think that's an amazing testimonial. Put it there. Stand in front of it 30 minutes a day. She was even told she's running in the New York Marathon this weekend. The doctor said, no, you can't do that. You don't have enough energy in your body. You're too run down. And I said, don't listen to that. Don't listen. Shannon, Jonathan would tell you, don't listen to that. Take care of yourself and do what you need to do and get strong. And she's running in it this weekend. She's going to run in it. I mean, she could barely walk. She couldn't, much less run. And so I said, just trust me on this one. Just put it right there. I'm not a doctor or Jonathan or anything, but I just said, try it. What do you have to lose? Try it. Just do it. And now she's going to run in the marathon. Jonathan is such a world of information. I mean, he literally knows this product inside and out. And I am so intrigued when he talks because he's just so knowledgeable. And it's not like he's trying to sell you anything. He's just explaining to you what benefits you could have. And I was just like blown away. I've got to have this product. And I got it all. And I'm like, where am I going to put all this? But you know what? I figured it out. And now I'm really using several of the products.
Let's talk a little bit about the 7 key principles of cancer therapy that I developed, and it was published actually in a peer-reviewed journal out of UCLA back in 2012. So that was like a feather to our cap in our work in integrative oncology for such a prestigious journal to pick up the 7 key principles to cancer therapy in an integrative oncology field. So the first key principle is non-toxic cancer therapy. What are some of the specific therapies that we do with respect to non-toxic cancer therapy? What that means is that these therapies will spare normal cells and normal tissue, and some of the therapies actually enhance healthy cells, while at the same time selectively and preferentially attacking and affecting disease cells, cancer cells. And the first one I'd like to mention, which is what we're well known throughout time and the world, is photodynamic therapy, also called photobiomodulation or light therapy. In this, what we do is we use light of different wavelengths, different color of lights. For example, we use yellow light, which is very antidepressive. It calms patients down. It's very useful to take that fear away. We use green light, which is very oxygenating. All these wavelengths of light, actually, we're mimicking the sun and the rainbow. God created light, and we're using light to preserve health, to help regenerate tissue, decrease inflammation, increase fibroblasts, which form collagen, which is the most abundant protein in the body, and we're using light to affect cancer cells. The other color wavelengths, we use ultraviolet light, we use infrared light, both of which are very antimicrobial, meaning they can kill pathogens like bacteria and viruses, and red light, which is a hot topic now in the oncology world and in the wellness world. Red light is specifically near-infrared light is so useful for the human physiology because the human cells resonate or vibrate at a near-infrared red light spectrum. So when our body is exposed to red light, it's like, the cells feel good. They're going to have better oxygenation. They're going to be able to eliminate toxins easier. They're going to be in a higher regenerative and repair capacity with red light. Red light is also very oxygenating. So beautiful things that can happen with photobiomodulation light therapy, and red light is on the cuff of one of the ideal therapy. In oncology, we have some substances that are called photosensitizers. These are substances that are natural, non-toxic, that are absorbed preferentially by disease cells. This means cells that are damaged, cells that are inflamed, or cells that are malignant, cancer cells. And so the cancer cells, for example, absorb these photosensitizers. Some photosensitizers are vitamin C, curcumin, methylene blue, algae. Even some chemotherapies have a peak activation where if we give a light therapy too at the same time, we're not only getting the chemo effect, but we're getting the photosensitizer effect, the light therapy effect of that drug. We seldom use chemotherapy at our centers. We could use low-dose chemotherapy, IPT, in combination with light therapy, phototherapy. So one of the most used therapies, we started this in the year 2002, have tremendous experience with photobiomodulation or light therapy, which is also called photodynamic therapy, is the use of light with sensitizers to affect cancer cells. The limiting factor with photodynamic therapy or light therapy is that light doesn't penetrate deep into the body. And so even though we use different types of light sources, we have helmets, for example. We have watches that you can put on the inner surface of your wrist where the skin is thin and there's a lot of blood supply so that the photons of light can penetrate deep into the body and affect cancer cells. We have LED, light-emitting diode pads, lamps, a massive array of different devices and technology that can affect the sensitizers to kill cancer cells. But we can only penetrate to a certain depth because light is limited in its penetration. The next key principles, let's talk about detoxification. And we know that the major toxicities nowadays are aluminum, glyphosate, and EMFs. We have to take care about cadmium, arsenic, of course, and mercury. So the main areas of detoxification are red light therapy. Near infrared is my favorite because we know that red light therapy does a number of things. It decreases inflammation. It decreases acidity. It improves microcirculation of healthy tissue or damaged tissue without without enhancing microcirculation to cancer cells. This is only effective with normal healthy tissue, which is amazing. And red light therapy also is very effective in detoxing heavy metals. So, of course, I also have red light therapy in my home and, of course, at our treatment centers. And these tools can be anything from helmets that we apply on the head for penetration into the brain at 810 nanometers. By the way, the Wellman Center for Photomedicine at Harvard, formerly led by Dr. Drake, I believe her name was, uses and studies photomedicine, light therapy, red light therapy with brain pathology, neurodegenerative diseases, for example. And we use it a lot in our brain cancer patients, whether it's primary or metastatic brain cancer. So detoxification is also useful with red light therapy. As I said, it's a very good natural chelator, helps us release heavy metals to the skin. The message I want to share with all of you after having 30 plus years of experience in oncology and considering myself a pioneer in many therapies. I started sonophotodynamic therapy using light and sound. I was one of the first to integrate red light therapy and infrared sauna in cancer therapy, develop some immunotherapies, is to empower yourself to your healing. And remember always, cancer is not a death word. Cancer is an opportunity to learn, to heal, and to recover. And cancer truly is an opportunistic disease. It doesn't happen by accident. It's not that you deserved it. It's an opportunistic disease that presented itself in the body because of toxicity, negative thoughts, all the root causes of disease embedded in that beautiful made body by God. And so let this be your opportunity to heal and to improve your life. And always remember that there's time to think, there's time to pray, and cancer is seldom a medical emergency. So don't get pushed into going straight for the port and chemotherapy and radiation without, having an introspective analysis of where you are, what you need to change in your life. And I have seen many, many patients throughout my career that the medical establishment gave them no hope. But they saw themselves on top of the summit, victorious. They didn't see themselves in a coffin. And guess what? Those are the people that heal and overcome even a stage 4 cancer. So give yourself that opportunity to heal and know that you can heal no matter what the conventional medical doctor tells you.
Jonathan Otto you got your degree in Queensland. You have an Australian accent. It's fascinating. And you are researching something that is just absolutely beyond reality. And what I mean by that, this is something NASA has hidden from the American public now for decades. This is hidden technology by NASA. And they're using it in space right now as we speak for their space program. Years ago, Jonathan, I worked for a guy who was the chief engineer on the SR-71, the big Blackbird, big jet. Now, I've sat in the cockpit of that, and I'm too tall. This is why I didn't become a pilot. I'm physically too tall to fit in that thing. I became a combat engineer instead because I don't fit in an F-15 cockpit. They were circling the moon in 1960. and they had red light therapy. NASA's been hiding this from you, the American public, for a long time. Jonathan, I have generation 1 red light therapy. It's okay for little wounds, but you have generation 3. I'm excited. We started into this health food thing when I ran into a guy in 1989 who helped write the book for the U.S. Army in 1946 called The Cure for Cancer. We've shown it on our program. And since then, we've done all the research and all the programs and all the autism and everything, you name a disease. But you have gone way beyond anything I have done. And I am excited because those little red light therapy things you have that are shown right here on my channel are way beyond. I mean, I knew when we published these, my first video on YouTube was The Cure for Cancer. We had to pull it down. Got 17 hits in the first week. So if you feel like nobody's listening to you, join the crowd. It'll grow. Then we got into autism and Alzheimer's with 99% success rate. But we can't heal the scars that the cancer leaves. We can't heal the scars that the autism leaves. We can't heal the Alzheimer's scars. We can reverse it all, but we can't heal the scars. And people are never the same after they've had cancer. They do recover after Alzheimer's, but they're never totally there. The brain regrows, but there's always something. And this therapy, I can't believe what the National Institutes of Health say about it. And if the NIH says it, and I printed it out so then nobody can say, no, those articles don't exist, because they've done that to me. Believe me, I've been in this business since 2007 when I had an embassy. They can't say they don't exist because there they are published right here on my desk. This therapy light increases mitochondria and increases ATP production. So not only do they come back, they have the energy they used to have. I'm excited.
You understand it, William. That's awesome. I can, and I think that excitement is well-founded. We're seeing people get their lives back, William, and it's just awesome. And I'm not talking about even just middle-aged people. I'm talking about mid-90-year-olds getting function back, and eyesight and pain, neuropathy getting reversed, and eyesight issues getting reversed, macular degeneration, seeing out the peripherals of their eyes, being able to read. Things that you wouldn't think you'd
Oh my God, you don't.
Oh yeah, there's lots of great
You
studies on
don't
that.
know the calls I get on macular degeneration. Well, you reversed cancer, you reversed autism. Can't you do macular degeneration? Well, EDTA does some, but it doesn't do all. Yours reverse element. This is far beyond anything I could hope for. I knew people would surpass what we did. I knew this when I started, that people would go way beyond anything I've ever imagined. And I've been studying the NIH research on this. This is freaking phenomenal. I'm sorry, I'm really excited.
Yeah, this is awesome. And you mentioned about the scarring. There's a study out of the source is American Friends of Tel Aviv. This study was on heart muscle scarring, and it was using red light therapy in combination with stem cells. It was an 80% reduction in heart muscle scarring. Talk about something that is the hardest to deal with, like scarring. The scar tissue is so thick. How do you turn that around? And so that there's examples of this. You look at autism and the results that are being found with children and adults with autism with red light therapy. They're spectacular. You look at thyroid studies where men and women, especially women, are regenerating their thyroids. When I say that, men equally, but yes, like even when they poorly perform the studies, like let's imagine that I put you on red light twice a week for 5 weeks. Now I take you off it and I test your thyroid function 9 months later. All the participants need far less levothyroxine. 47% don't need levothyroxine Synthroid anymore at all. But that was only after 10 sessions that were performed over 5 weeks. And then they were tested 9 months later. I'm not talking about when people do it daily and they do it for months. Then, couldn't that have been 100%? And how many lives are being lost because of thyroid conditions and the livelihood and the lifespan and the health span being lost because of thyroid health? It's a real solution, and these are double-blinded placebo studies where they give even people fake lights. People don't get better on the fake lights; they most often get worse because conditions progress over time, and that's what's happening. So it's not a placebo effect. If it were, the placebo studies would show that people do well in the placebo studies as well, but they don't, unfortunately.
No, they don't do well in the placebo studies. In fact, yeah, I'm stunned. You know, I started using this thing when I heard about you, and I started using it on small wounds, and it is extremely effective in healing the small wounds. Now, this doesn't penetrate very much. It's generation 1, and it's an old technology. But it sure got rid of the wrinkles, and I'll tell you what, it sure healed some wounds that wouldn't heal up. And that's generation 1. You're way beyond that. We have this $1,500, maybe $2,500 chair. I don't know. It's this cedar box you sit in that's supposed to be IR. Doesn't do anything. But your device, what I'm reading with, they got this thing where they inject a chemical into you, and then they hit you with infrared light, and the chemical goes to the cancer cells and blows the cancer cells up. It's called photoimmunotherapy, and then there's the photodynamic therapy.
Okay, good. Okay. Now you are well read. That's great. Yes. Photodynamic therapy and photoimmunotherapy. These are leading frontiers with combining red light therapy with immune boosting properties that are found in plants. Always in plants. Sometimes synthetic dyes like methylene blue, but curcumin, berberine, they take on a new life.
Well, I don't have to ask you what this does for energy levels, but you know, the more I read about photodynamic and photoimmunotherapy, I didn't realize how close to plants we really are. We must be half home, because I'll tell you, this phototherapy, this photodynamic, I've never seen anything like this. I started reading, and these are all brand new studies. I mean, these are like 2014, 2000, and these are within the last 10 years. This is plant. We put that red light therapy on us. I had no idea how the total effect of it. We receive this light, and it heals us. And I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and we don't get any sun. Everybody's all depressed up here. So what does this do? What have you and your wife found? Because your wife's a big part of this. What has this done for you and your wife's energy? I mean, you're bouncing off the wall. She's got to be bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so helpful. Look, being someone that battled with chronic fatigue syndrome, being in front of the light daily, or at least a few times a week, because sometimes I'm away or whatever, it's a game changer. I actually also have my eyes open, because that's the gateway into the brain for at least the 3-minute mark. You can look at the clinical studies on that. It's been tremendously helpful. It's been awesome for my wife as well. And so yeah, it's been great. Energy is one of the things that people report often first, and sometimes normally it helps people sleep during the evenings. There are some people that report having too much energy in the evenings. I think it's just their body getting what's the word I'm looking for? Calibrated. Sorry, getting calibrated. Because normally it's supposed to help you go to sleep. I think after more use, the body will start understanding those signals a little better. But it can wire people up so much that it's like they've just drank 10 coffees. And so normally you do it 30 minutes before sleep. It should give you a much more restful sleep. But you just and then that's also why it gives you more energy, because you got better sleep. So there's lots of reasons. Or your thyroid function improved, or your cellular communication has improved, your circulation has improved, and these are the things, William. What is photodynamic therapy? Photodynamic therapy is a treatment that utilizes a photosensitizing agent and light to treat various medical conditions, including cancer and non-cancerous conditions. Here it is how it works. So photosensitizing agents. A photosensitizing agent is a drug or synthetic natural. It can be either synthetic or natural. And it's either applied to the skin, taken orally, or administered intravenously. This agent accumulates selectively in target cells or tissues. Activation with light. The photosensitizing agent is then activated by specific wavelengths of light. Typically, the light used is a laser or LED of specific color wavelength, depending on the photosensitizer used. The light activates the photosensitizer, causing it to produce a form of oxygen that kills nearby cells. Positive cellular damage. When activated by light, the photosensitizer generates reactive oxygen species such as a singlet oxygen and free radicals. These ROS are highly reactive and cause damage to nearby cells and tissues, leading to cell death or destruction of targeted cells. Therapeutic applications. Photodynamic therapy can be used to treat various conditions, including cancers, for example, skin cancer, lung cancer, esophageal cancer, and non-cancerous conditions, acne, actinic keratosis, macular degeneration. Its applications depends on the ability to selectively target and activate the photosensitizer in the affected area. So chlorophyll, curcumin, these are types of photosensitizers. Riboflavin, methylene blue, artemisinin, berberine, and green tea, specifically even matcha green tea. So here's curcumin as a photosensitizer. Curcumin combined with photodynamic therapy, promising therapies for the treatment of cancer. Curcumin, derived from turmeric, exhibits diverse medicinal properties, including antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and anti-cancer effects. Its anti-cancer activity is primarily attributed to its modulation of cellular signaling pathways. This approach enhances curcumin's efficacy by influencing apoptosis pathways such as BCL2 and caspase and affecting cell cycle regulation. So the conclusion here is curcumin exhibits antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and anti-cancer properties, yet its clinical utility is hindered by rapid metabolism and poor oral viability. Combining curcumin with photodynamic treatment or photodynamic therapy shows promise in overcoming these limitations, enhancing its anti-cancer efficacy by inducing cancer cell apoptosis and improving curcumin's bioavailability. Curcumin combined with photodynamic therapy, promising therapies for the treatment of cancer. Here you can see it from the study here, which is listed in, I believe this is Science Direct here. You can see we're quoting sources as we go. So berberine as a photosensitizer. Study effect of berberine associated with photodynamic therapy and cell lines. Berberine, a natural compound with anti-cancer properties, was investigated in this study as a potential photosensitizer for PDT. When activated with visible light at 447 nanometer, berberine photodynamic therapy induced significant cytotoxic effects, reducing cell viability to 19.84% in Kaski cells and 47.22% in Haycat cells. The conclusion: the study observed that berberine presented low dark cytotoxicity with efficient cellular internalization. Treatment with berberine associated with photodynamic therapy was able to generate ROS, reactive oxygen species, and induces apoptosis, activating caspase 3. Therefore, we demonstrated that berberine is an efficient photosensitizer and that its association with photodynamic therapy may be a potential anti-cancer treatment strategy for cervical cancer. Fascinating. Berberine, so easy to access. Red light therapy, so easy to access. Put those two things together, then you are in business. But getting the devices that hit the wavelengths that you want, not so easy to access. And that's important to nail that aspect. So here's the effect of berberine associated with photodynamic cell therapy and cell lines. So now here's the studies on 850 nanometers. So photobiomodulation with light-emitting diodes improves sperm motility in men with asthenozoospermia. So this study aimed to assess the impact of photobiomodulation using LED on sperm motility in men with asthenozoospermia. 30 men with this condition were included in the study, and semen samples were divided into untreated controls and groups with LED at various wavelengths. So the conclusion were the LED treatment significantly increased the percentage of rapidly progressive sperm and reduced the proportion of immotile sperm in all treated groups compared to controls. These improvements were observed across different LED wavelengths, but mostly 850 nanometers, indicating that photobiomodulation with LED can effectively enhance sperm motility in asthenozoospermia. Here's a case control series for the effect of photobiomodulation in patients with low back pain and concurrent depression in PMC here. PubMed. So in this study, patients with low back pain and concurrent depression received a combination of photobiomodulation therapy along with physical therapy over 5 weeks. Anyone here have low back pain or concurrent depression? Well, you might want to see what happens here. So the photobiomodulation treatment involved using a device emitting light at 850 nanometers and 660 nanometers on specific areas of the back and thighs. The results were these. Results showed that patients receiving photobiomodulation alongside phototherapy experienced a significant reduction in depression scores compared to those receiving PT alone. This suggests that photobiomodulation with 850 may have an antidepressant effect in addition to its therapeutic benefits for LBP, independent of improvements in functional status. Studies on 980 nanometer wavelengths. Study photobiomodulation by near-infrared 980 nanometer wavelength regulates pre-osteoblast proliferation and viability through the PI3K AKT BCL2 pathway. This study investigates how 980 nanometer wavelength photobiomodulation affects pre-osteoblasts in vitro. Previous research indicates that mitochondrial dysfunction can hinder osteogenesis, making mitochondria a potential target for therapy. In this experiment, MC3T3E1 pre-osteoblasts were exposed to 980 nanometer laser irradiation at various power densities and frequencies over 2 weeks. Conclusion. The results show that photobiomodulation at specific parameters can regulate metabolic activity and activate P13K AKT BCL2 signaling pathway in a pre-osteoblast. This suggests that photobiomodulation could be a promising approach for enhancing bone tissue regeneration by modulating cellular metabolism and signaling pathways. And here you see the study in PubMed. Study combined therapeutic effects of low power laser 980 and CoQ10 on neuropathic pain in adult male rat. Neuropathic pain is a debilitating medical condition that often doesn't respond well to conventional pain treatments. The CoQ10 can prevent the deleterious effects of nerve injury, and laser application at 980 was also effective in promoting early functional recovery. This study aims to explore the combined effects of low-level laser therapy and coenzyme Q10 or coenzyme Q10 to potentially enhance treatment outcomes for NP. The results, based on the findings, the combination of CoQ10 with LLT showed better effects than each one might alone perform. In this regard, we believe that there might be cellular and molecular synergism in simultaneous use of CoQ10 and LLT on pain relief. Guys, this is not mind-blowing, amazing. So who here has CoQ10, doesn't have a red light? Who here has a red light, doesn't use CoQ10? Or who here doesn't have either, but has pain and would like these kinds of results? Well, these are all problems that you can solve, and it's a one and done with a device. And then, you've got your costs with taking a supplement like curcumin, CoQ10. But it's very reasonable. You can do this inexpensively. Often the thing that's costing a lot is going to therapy centers where when you're in a desperate situation, you could be up for tens of thousands of dollars. There's even clinics that will charge $100,000. Imagine if you just took a tiny fraction of that and then put it on your own protocol at home and got your own devices in your home and then started putting these substances in your body, and you would, in most cases, because you're well educated by yours truly, the amazing doctors you've been hearing from, because of that, you have the power to actually have a more advanced treatment than the therapy centers have, because they often are not keeping up with these studies. Okay, so, Pat, this is a really beautiful message. This info is so unique that no one I know is researching to such a degree. We are fortunate to have Jonathan presenting this for free. He's a beautiful human. That's really touching. Don't make me all emotional, guys. I've got more to present. Don't make me get emotional. Okay. I just appreciate when people see each other, and I hope you guys feel seen by me. And I just want people to have results and knowledge, and that's why I educate. And I'm just grateful because, you know, if I know that people don't have to suffer, then the world can be a better place. And I can't stop thinking about all the people that I know in person, people, you know, some of you guys that have followed me or, you know, connected with my work. You guys are health educators and researchers in your own right. And there are many people watching this that are medical doctors and actual therapists that do various different things. But even if you don't have any background in that, you guys are, you know, forced to be reckoned with. And when I, you know, connect and our paths cross, what happens is you know, your stories remain in my mind, and the cases that is being worked on.
The way nutrients are delivered in our system is via blood flow. Okay. And so you have to get the nutrients in. So one, your gut has to be working, right? You got to be able to absorb the nutrients, number one, for them to get into the bloodstream, right? Then once they're in the bloodstream, we got to get them to go wherever you need them to go, right? And one of the ways I like to do that is with red light therapy. Okay. We're talking about the thyroid, you know, in getting a red light over the throat, over the front of the neck is an excellent way to stimulate more blood flow to the thyroid. Explain something real quick here. This is when the thyroid is deficient in iodine, it will swell up in order to get more blood flow. Okay. And we call it a goiter. Okay. That's what a goiter is. It's just the thyroid swelling up to try to get more blood flow to monopolize any bit of iodine it can possibly get. Right. So if you're putting the nutrients into your system and you're absorbing them, and you want to get your thyroid recovered quicker, red light therapy, 15 to 20 minutes of red light therapy on the thyroid on a daily basis will drastically, it's going to speed up how fast your thyroid recovers. Okay. Now, I would do at least 10 minutes on the thyroid, and maybe if you put your hands on your hip bones, right? Okay, and then you draw a line around the back. You'll be at the top of your pelvis. That's they call them the eyes of the low back. You get two little dimples there at the top of your, you know, bottom of your low back, top of your rear end, right? Okay, that's about where L4 is, the fourth lumbar vertebrae. Okay, now you go up to the ribs. The floating ribs down at the bottom of the rib cage. Right behind the floating ribs is where your kidneys are. Right on the top of the kidneys is where your adrenal glands are. See where I'm going with this? Okay. So you could also do red light over the adrenal area. Okay. So where your floating ribs are, okay, those are the small ribs at the very bottom. In that area, you could apply red light over that area to help nourish your speed up blood flow to your adrenal glands as well. Okay. I don't really know anybody that couldn't use that. Remember that with the red light therapy, you're stimulating mitochondria activity. Okay. If your thyroid's dysfunctional, the mitochondria in the thyroid are not working right. If your adrenals are dysfunctional, the mitochondria in your adrenals aren't working right. Okay. If your system is stressed past your ability to adapt, then your mitochondria, you don't have enough mitochondria working. One of the best things to do to activate your mitochondria and support their function is red light therapy. So I'm actually in the process right now to do a whole study on Janos red lights. We have everything. We're getting it all set up. I have my team. We're going to get started. What we're going to do is research different ways of using them to maximize your benefits. Okay. If you have his whole pack, right? You got the one you could wrap around you. You could lay on your throat, right? You could put it across your neck. You got one you could put on your mid-low back, so you're getting your adrenals. That would be great. The other thing is, the mitochondria of your cells are extremely important, but think about the fact that you have microbes in your gut, and the mitochondria of those microbes are also important. Okay, so using the panels where you're getting your torso is extremely important. If you're going to use red light therapy for mitochondria function, I would definitely look at using red light on the adrenal area and the mid-low back, over the thyroid, and then again over the torso. With the torso, you're going to get your heart and your liver where you have the highest concentration of mitochondria. The next area of the highest concentration is actually your gut. And so if you want to affect the most mitochondria possible in the shortest amount of time, really work your torso with the red lights. I would say 20 minutes on the thyroid, 20 minutes on the back over the adrenal area, if that's possible. If you have another panel that you could get your torso with at the same time, you could virtually get 3 different areas in 20 minutes. That'd be great stimulation to your mitochondrial activity. One of the things, real quick, this is a note on mitochondria. I have a running thesis that I think the way God created Adam and Eve to be immortal was that he originally designed the human body with thousands of times more mitochondria. Okay. I think today we have just a fraction of the mitochondria that our ancestors had. And one of the things about the mitochondria, when they are active, they produce more light than the sun. Okay. And if you take a Killian photograph of a dysfunctional knee, a knee that's really inflamed, right? It won't emit light. The upper leg will emit light, the lower leg will emit light, but that joint doesn't. Okay. Why? Well, in the inflamed tissue, there's no mitochondria activity. Or it's very, very reduced. Okay. When you have an area of your body that has a lot of mitochondria activity and you take one of those Killian photographs of it, it shines. It's very, very bright. Okay. In some of the ancient texts, it says that Adam and Eve, their bodies shined. And it wasn't until they ate the fruit and poisoned those mitochondria with whatever was in that fruit that they stopped shining. And that's when they realized they weren't wearing clothes. So there you go. There's a little bit of biblical stuff, a little bit of science stuff there. It's kind of cool how they overlap a lot. Where I'm going with light, though, is red light recharges the mitochondria's ability to produce that light. Okay? So, important stuff. Very, very important.
Yeah, like I was stressed out about a lot of things, like financial stuff that I have going on, uh, and just kind of like being a little bit overwhelmed with some various personal things that that I was handling the last couple of months, and You know, I mean, I have pretty good health practices, and um, always try to stay physically fit and eat the right things and things of that nature. And I'm not on any kind of supplements. I'm not on any type of pharmaceutical drugs whatsoever. Uh, but my girlfriend, she has a lot of anxiety and pain and stuff like that from lupus. And so when she started doing this, like things started turning around for her. As soon as I started using the belt, and her too, both of our anxiety levels came down a lot, a lot. And for me, it was I was using that face mask, and I was seeing like visual differences like right away. And so just to run through the results real quick without trying to drag this out. Um, I had like a little tiny sore next to my nose that it would come and go all the time. It would almost go away, and then maybe I'll go out one weekend with my buddies and have a couple of beers, and then it would come back, you know. So I'm no angel, and so I just had this little like pimple all the time that never really went all the way away. And once I started using the mask, man, it just killed it. It annihilated it. It's gone completely. Um, and then I had maybe like a light brown mark on my forehead, and maybe a couple. And oh, I had maybe like one or two over here, like real light, but they're gone, man. I mean, those are gone, and I'm talking in 2 months. And the other thing is, as soon as I started putting the belt on, I would just wrap the belt around my rib cage. I was like, I'm not trying to get, a six pack abs or whatever. I just want to put this thing right on my liver and see if anything happens. And the very first time I did it, after I left her house, I came back home, and I was just like, within about 30 minutes, after doing it, about 30 minutes, 45 minutes later, I just felt like everything was great, man. Like, for no reason. I just felt really calm and this really awesome sense of well-being. And I was like, I'm going to work my problems out. I don't have to worry about my finances. I'm going to figure it out, like feeling very confident. And I noticed it, and then it happened every time I did it. So now I'm just using the stuff all the time, and it's just adding something, something really good, something really positive.
Wow, that is so inspiring. Thank you, Robert. What a
Yeah.
blessing. And so this was like a lot of your benefits came from just using this simple, pretty like arguably cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean it didn't cost a lot, but I mean obviously it's quality. But
Yeah.
this cost-effective, affordable belt. Like it sounds like a lot of this you were doing with the belt. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was using first I started using the face mask. She was like, "You got to try this. You got to try this," because she took 10 years off of her face. It took all of her inflammation away. And she had gone through some serious surgeries. She's a breast cancer survivor. She's just been plagued with like ailments, and she fights through it, but it's been difficult. So as soon as she got the mask, it made a difference on her.